Honestly, it is not to indict us, but it is to make the entire system better. And when consumers are well protected, that can guarantee financial system stability.
Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, EFINA, in collaboration with the Shared Network Expansion Facilities Limited and Proshare, hosted the second edition of its hybrid quarterly regulatory town hall. Discussing the theme, Inclusive Systems, Fair Lending, Responsible, Faster Redress. The forum was an opportunity for regulators, operators, and consumers to chart a pathway for strengthening consumer protection in Nigeria's financial services industry. Remarks from the CEO of EFINA, the Director, Consumer Protection and Financial Inclusion, Central Bank of Nigeria, the Director, Surveillance and Investigation, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CEO of the Consumer Advocacy Foundation of Nigeria, and President of the Money Lenders Association of Nigeria, set the tone for the conversation.
With the expansion of digital financial services, it comes with its benefits and then the antecedents, or the associated risks. And a key one that we want to really expand on today is on issues around that as it relates to digital, credit in particular, and lending, as it were. So the fact that people are getting online lending services, and then we need to say kudos to FCCPC for the great work you've done so far, especially on the DIOR regulations. I'm curious to see how enforcement is going with regards to that, because I'm not sure people even know about it yet. I'm not sure my colleague is a very close a relative of mine just recently sent a note to me that I'm not going to mention names, but that she got online credit. She paid in full. She got a notification to say, oh, you've been upgraded because of your great performance. And before she could say anything, that's what she told me, that we're going to investigate, hopefully with your support, that they credited her again. And she sent me the note to say, I don't want credit. I didn't ask for credit. And it's okay, you know what? You can send it back. But if you send it back through this particular, say, bank account, you're going to have to pay the interest. So rather send it to this other account. When she showed me the alert, it was not the name of, I said, why would you send this? She said, because she was desperate to send it back so she wouldn't have to pay the interest. And it was interest for, I can't remember how much, for 7 days. It was ridiculous. So she was trying to avoid all of that penalty and then pay to a scam account. Now the money she supposedly borrowed, she has to pay back. The one she has refunded is lost. So how do we prevent issues like that? And many others that we don't even hear about, because they are happening in those places where people, once they get beaten, they swear off. And all the gains that we have enjoyed with financial inclusion, we now start to see those gains reverse. Because you don't want people joining and then leaving on account of negative experience. So this really is just one of the examples that we are hoping we can trash out. But more importantly, to get the information to everyone that needs to know, both the operators, the regulators, the consumers, such that there is so much more trust in the ecosystem. Because with financial services, I always say that you can argue with me, I don't know of any sustainable development goal that you can achieve without financial inclusion.
Consumer confidence and trust is key to financial inclusion, is key to their participation, is key to the economic growth of our country. And incidentally, when we looked at the theme, inclusive systems, fair lending, responsible borrowing, faster redress, this is not just a sequence of words. It's actually a fundamental architecture for a sustainable and trustworthy financial ecosystem. Each of those components is important in the conversation in this room. We have to ensure that the system is not only inclusive. I can give us a tick on that so far, thanks to fintech, that has actually given access. And with access comes also incredible amount of issues or challenges, as expected. We were looking for access a few years ago. Now we have access. And then the access has also given us access to more challenges. And then we have to still continue to, because that is the essence of innovation, continue to fix the challenges with other innovative systems.
When we started, we didn't have all these structures. We didn't have the law. We didn't have agencies like the FCPC with so much power and capacity. We didn't have departments in CBN that was taking care of consumer protection. So we now have those things. How do we help consumers use them in such a way that it benefits them? So that's the area where CAFON is focusing right now. Thank you.
For us as licensed money lenders, with the way we operate in a regulated ecosystem now, let's forget about what was happening before in terms of how this area was operating in terms of the negative vibes. Now that we've got a regulator that, I must say, understands the system and knows what is happening in the system, everybody has to sit up, especially licensed money lenders, licensed digital lenders. Because you've got a new sheriff in town, which is the FCPC. So this particular topic, I won't even call it a topic. It's a pillar. It's quite fundamental to our business. And the reason why I'm saying that is inclusive system, because we are bridging a gap of people that are unbanked, people that are that don't have access to the normal traditional financial institution. You can be in Zamfara State and you've got a phone device with internet. You can come on the system and apply, provided it meets the condition of service. You'll be able to get a loan from us. This comes with a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, we are portraying in terms of positivity in the service that we provide, because it's like a lifeline for some people, especially the low-income earners that come on our system, whether you have a regular income or whether you have irregular income. Most of our people in the informal sector, they have irregular income, and we're able to take care of them. It comes with challenges, but that is why we've got our regulators that is whipping us into line. And what we are telling our members now is you need to comply for you to be competitive in a regulated society.
We thank EFINA for organizing this session. And I can tell you from the last time, we take on some issues which had led to policy release, including that we are fast-tracking the deployment of our solution, which we said will be very dramatic in ensuring that customers' complaints, procedure, and protocols are seamless. I would like to also mention that we have seen a drop in complaints escalated to CBN. So not necessarily that the numbers have dropped, but complaint escalated to CBN had dramatically or considerably, we have seen a drop in that, particularly for two banks, which every day of this my work, they must always appear. So it was even us that had to find that happened. And we found that they had created an entire floor solving complaints 24/7. And we had to also speak to other banks to please liaise with them and see what they did differently. So like we mentioned, there will always be drop-off. You don't have anything that is 100%. But when you commit to supporting and protecting customers, even at that first level, I foresee even a general drop in complaints, because it will help them to see the areas where there are issues and they tighten up. And over time, they will even be in the forefront to ensure that they look out for what may likely be a problem and they ensure that they do not happen. So honestly, it is not to indict us, but it is to make the entire system better. And when consumers are well protected, that can guarantee financial system stability.
Key stakeholders share their takeaways from the town hall and their expectations ahead in achieving a stable financial system that guarantees consumer protection, effective regulations, and a balance with innovation and technology.
It's actually a forum that will be able to sort of create the normal awareness that you've got some bad guys in the industry and you've got some good guys. What you need to do when you are looking for an emergency loan to see whether you are dealing with the good or bad guys. So we want conferences like this. We want more of this so that we can project the image of digital lenders in a positive light.
For me, I learned the fact that there are bad people who are lenders and there are good people who are lenders. And using the Consumer Protection Council, right, FCCPC, I guess, yeah, we can now know the people we can address and meet and talk to. So that was a big takeaway for us.
Takeaways. Number one is for FCCPC and CBN to work together towards enforcing and ensuring that there is regulatory coordination for effective enforcement. And also to increase, the second one is that we need to do more by putting all the efforts of the Commission to in protecting consumers at their forefront, using multiple channels of communication. We'll do more. The call for more is very clear and loud in the room, and we'll continue to work with stakeholders like EFINA, CAFON, the associations, and our co-regulator CBN, and try to just see that there is a synergy of efforts towards protecting consumers in this very dynamic, ever-evolving space of digital money lending.
Consumers need to become aware that they also have part of the responsibility in protecting themselves. If you don't know what is going on within a space and you want to participate in that space, you open yourself to the risks. And so it's important for every consumer to be aware, to be present, to be engaged, to actually pay attention, not just assume, oh, this will be taken care of me, or somebody has already cleaned this up for me, so I can just do anything I like. No, even if they cleaned it up for you, check just to make sure, back check, so that you don't get yourself involved in something that it becomes impossible for you to get out of.
EFINA is not the lone driver of financial inclusion. We do this in partnership with so many ecosystem players, chief amongst which is the Central Bank of Nigeria. Because, financial inclusion without consumer protection is hollow victory, right? So meaning you get people to come into the financial space to access and use, but if they are not adequately protected, then you run the risk of drop-offs. And then those drop-offs, they reverberate across the ecosystem. Someone who has had a negative experience will mention it to others. So others who have not even had that experience might leave. Others who have not joined at all might refuse to join on account of that. So consumer protection is extremely important. And I should mention something. Yes, in addition to the work we do on data-driven financial inclusion, it's not just the research for financial inclusion on access and use, but it's the advocacy on the back of the research we do. So we go into communities. Right now, we're going to start the next round of the A12, the Access to Financial Services in Nigeria survey. For a couple of rounds now, we have a dedicated module for consumer protection. So beyond just access and use, how are customers finding the experiences they're having with financial services? And we're doing a similar thing this year as well. Before June, about July thereabouts, we're going to launch the report on the state of financial inclusion in Nigeria. We're going to be able to zoom into the consumer protection model, just to be able to identify what can be done to improve the quality, the effectiveness of financial services, and to ensure that they are relevant and have impact on the lives and livelihoods of Nigerians. And then also to provide more evidence and information to all the different players, regulators, operators, on what is left to be done.
I'm very excited that we held this event, together with EFINA and Proshare. I would say thank you very much to EFINA. In everything that we do, the consumer is at the center of it, and we should at all times think about them. this is just the first of its kind. I'm sure this is the second Ask Your Regulator event we're having, but I'm even proposing that we should be having this every month. There's still a lot that they want to know. There's still a lot of unclarified questions. There's still a lot of question marks, out there, especially for the underserved and the last mile. They are very important to us in what we do. When you talk about financial inclusion, because you don't also want to bring them into the financial service sector and they will break their trust. So we have to continue to provide clarity where there's unclarity.
Regulation must be proactive, while consumer education and awareness should increase at a large scale across the country. This is why the regulatory town hall organized by EFINA in collaboration with SANEF remains a catalyst to deepening financial inclusion and enhancing the advocacy for consumer protection. It is commendable and requires all the regulatory and policy support to transform Nigeria's financial services landscape.